Brent Johnson, and today we're continuing our tour of instruments that will be used in the Fort Worth Regional AGO Convention this summer. With me is Jerry Westencooler, who's the organist here at Arborlawn United Methodist Church. And this is a Dan Garland organ. Dan was a local Fort Worth builder. He's still around. He's just retired now. This Dan Garland organ, it's not his biggest instrument, but it is a very large instrument. How many ranks do we have?
106.
106 ranks. And we've seen a lot of large instruments like this, and we're kind of on a trend here, I think, of this is a large instrument that was designed from the ground up to be this size. It wasn't we added something here and we brought in something here. So it's not a piecemeal instrument. It's all, everything here has a purpose, and it's all meant to go together. Mm-hmm. So tell me, how did this instrument come to be?
Well, it came to be when two churches decided to merge together and to build a new sanctuary. And one interesting thing is, it's unusual in the organ world to have the building built and the organ built at the same time. So the architects for the building and the organ builder got to work together on designing the best space and what instruments and how the pipes would be arranged for the room. And they worked together and made many compromises, I'm sure, but that's kind of an unusual thing, and I think it's worked out to our advantage.
Yeah, I think things always come out the best when you can do that. And it is a visually stunning instrument. I know that they wanted to see pipes when they built this, right?
They wanted to see pipes.
So we have lots of pipes out here. And I was reading about the organ. All of the case actually doubles as tuning supports, right?
The 1, 2, 3, 4, all the ones here in front, they fold down, and the organ tuners stand
They're
on
strong
there.
enough to support somebody
and
standing
it's
on
built
them.
it's built for that. So it's easy access to the pipes, both inside the chamber and outside the chamber.
Wonderful. Well, we'll have to take a look at that later, but for now, I want to hear some of all of these ranks. Now, you were a part of designing this instrument
Yes,
as well. So you've been here the whole time, and so you know this instrument better than anybody.
Probably. Yes.
I'm actually gonna step over here on this side so people can see, and let's start with the Great Division.
All right.
And tell me how your Great works.
Okay, the Great has the principal chorus. It has something unusual about this principal chorus. It has 4 8-foot principals,
Really?
all of a different characteristic. Here's one. You can choose which 8-foot principal or combine.
Violone, diapason,
The violone-
octave, and the violone actually goes all the way down to 16.
It goes down to 16. That's where the 16-foot comes from. On this Great Division, we have 3 independent reeds: the bombard, the harmonic trumpet, and the clarion. Those are not unified in any way, and something kind of interesting, they're right out here in front, so people can see. So there's 3 levels, there's three chests in there. So if you need a little power behind your principal chorus while you're playing, that's one way to get that. There are 2 mixtures. Well, let's just... First mixture is the furniture. Then if you need to cap that off a little bit, it's got the 3-rank sharf. So, we've also got a bombard division on this organ, which is a floating division. You can play it. It comes on the Great automatically, unless you take it off of the Great. And then it could go to the swell, it could go to the choir, anywhere you need it. But there's something special about this. It's a principal chorus with a tuba mirabilis in there and a few other flutes and a mounted cornet. But it's under expression, the Great under expression. So if you're doing some French work, just something that you need a lot of expression, you can take that to any keyboard. And to have a Great under expression, it's kind of a nice attribute to have for flexibility.
So we got A4-2 and mixture.
A4-2 and mixture.
What flutes do we have in there?
In there we have a Borden and a Spitz flute. So here's the Borden and the Spitz flute. That was 2 of them combined. Yeah. Also, there's a mounted cornet in there.
That's meant to go with the flutes.
It's meant to go with the flutes, yes.
Okay, is that full compass or just?
Yes, it is.
Okay, wonderful.
It is. Now, something else on the bombard, as the largest chorus reed, is the tuba mirabilis. There are 3 really big reeds on the organ: a hooded tuba in the solo, the enchimade, and the tuba mirabilis. And Dan worked very hard to voice this different than everything else, but if you add that to a chorus, under expression, flexibility.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's also at the 16-4 as well. So you can pull out your French music and get a lot of benefit.
But
from
also
that.
to be able to shut down all of that power.
And to shut it all
and
down,
pull
but to
back
have
up.
it under your helm is feels kind of good.
And to put it on any manual.
And you put it any manual you want to.
That's
So
amazing.
it could have been a 5-manual organ, but I'm so short anyway, so we decided to go with the 4-manual to make it a floating
That works.
division. So it's worked
Okay.
out really well.
Let's go back over to the grate.
Okay.
Tell me about the flutes we have in the grate.
The flutes in the grate. We have the Borden and the Nocturne. Just your standard 8-foot Borden there. Now the Nocturne is one of my favorite stops. It makes a great solo stop with a tremolo on there. Just a nice little solo when you need something fluty.
It speaks so nice and clearly into the room. Now, is all of the grate exposed out here, or some of it behind?
Most of it is exposed out here. The grate and the pedal is out here. The largest of the pedal, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, is back behind there, the full-length 32 contra ophiclat. So, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay. And that's the grate division.
That's the grate,
Well, let's stay over on that side. And
Okay.
tell me about the choir division. We have
The
a big
choir division is large. We ran out of places. We had somebody offer to buy a Celeste at the very end, so it used our final knob down here, so there's no more room for any more. But anyway, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 Celeste within the choir, and the Vox Angelica is just barely audible. So if you want to go unnoticed, that really works that way.
You can really sneak in under.
In the chamber, in the choir chambers, we'll see later, there's what the organ builders call the gun rack.
Gun rack.
This is a Texas thing, the gun rack thing. But those 2 ranks of pipes are inside that gun rack, inside the choir chamber. So it's double enclosed, so you can really, really take the volume down on that. The Erzauer Celeste. Gemshorn Celeste. And then my favorite is the Viola da Gamba, which is available at 8-foot and also 4-foot.
Both the string and Celeste are available.
Both strings and Celeste are available on both levels
lovely.
there. There are 2 flutes on the choir, the harmonic flute and the roar flute. Couple flute. But there's also something special about the choir on this organ. It's got a harmonic series set of mutation stops. And many people know about that, but some people don't. It lets you create a solo voice using the natural harmonics within nature. So if I play a middle C here and pull the 8-foot flute, there's a 4-foot, it adds the octave, the 5th, the octave, the 3rd, the 5th, the flatted 7th, the octave, and a major 2nd. Which sounds a little weird by itself, but if you use that as a solo voice, it makes a nice synthetic reed. I've had organists come up afterwards after doing a concert. They said, "What reed stop
Reeds
was
we
that?" It's not a reed; it's a series of mutations.
And
So
you can mix and match those
you can mix
in any
and match.
combination. to
And
get-
we've got a crumb horn here. It's a nice crumb horn, but if you want a little edge to it, you can always add an extra. You can kind of tweak your reeds around a little bit using that.
it's amazing to have all of those separately.
So the principal chorus, I'll just play. It's a simple principal chorus. In the choir, but it works well for accompanying the choir, and it shuts down very nicely too if you really need it to.
Okay.
So
We also have a trumpet in here.
we have a little trumpet in here. Built to go along with the principal chorus there.
That works really well. It's a nice foil there to the
And-
to your great and your bombard. Even you have
Yeah.
two different choruses under expression, so that's really great to have.
So
Okay.
All right.
Continuing on that side.
On
let's
that
just stay
side,
over there.
we'll go to the
and
solo.
Tell me about the solo division.
the solo is really very orchestrally designed, if that's a word. We've got one of my favorite stops on there is the doppelfloat, which is the double flute, the way the pipe's made. But we also have the concert flute.
Lovely.
We also have, just as kind of a, not necessarily a solo voice, but kind of it'll boost other things, an 8 and a 4 foot principal. So if you need to boost a solo voice or you need a principal somewhere else, you could usually take it from the solo division.
Excellent.
The largest Celeste on here is from the solo division, the Gamba and the Gamba Celeste. Which you can also make that for. Okay,
Nice.
some more of the reeds here. We'll talk about those. Here is, and I'll just play a few of them. I'll just call them as I do it. How about that?
Sounds good.
Here is the French horn, which I really like in the tenor range. We'll go Christmas here. Oboe. English horn. Clarinet. Maybe without the tremolo. And then the big reeds come from the tuba. And I really like this is a very English sounding tuba, and it's in the solo division, and it's a hooded tuba. So it goes straight up and then into the room. It's all right. Then, of course, we also have the enchamat. I played it on the Swell, but it's from the solo division up there.
That aside from the big reeds, I was just thinking those solo stops are all very colorful and interesting, but they're not super loud.
They're not.
They're not the big sort of
right.
overpowering solo division we sometimes find.
We've got the trumpets and things for that, and we
Yeah.
can couple things up together. Sometimes I will combine some of the softer things for a. like that, just to kind of build on itself.
It's kind of
with
was
the
everything together
16th
for all your eights.
all the soft things, but just to kind of boost the congregational singing like that.
Yeah, just more colors you can mix in with other things. All right. All right, so I'm going to come over here back to this side, and we'll talk about what's on our swell division.
What's on our swell division? We have a full principal chorus. In there, it goes down to the 16-foot deck. There, you could get some French things going on here. Something a little bit different. We have a 32-foot on the manual.
Oh, wow.
Which I don't think I've ever used yet, but I'm waiting. Someday I'm going to use that. But
Contrabassoon.
Contrabassoon. It comes in from the bassoon, extending that down an octave. Huh. It actually comes from the pedal, but
it's there as well.
We had the space, so we put it there too. Dan.
Hey, why not? You never know when you're going to need it.
There are two oboes: the orchestral oboe from the solo, but on the swell, there is an oboe that I think sounds very trumpety, but it makes an excellent chorus read when you're playing along. We add that.
Yeah, I would expect you turned on a trumpet if I heard that.
Yeah, we also have a French trumpet. Is a different sound. It's also 8 foot. A little bit rounder with a little bit more
almost
edge
the same volume.
It's almost the same volume. And then we have a standard German trumpet, which is a little bit different. Those are also extended down to the 16 there. And then also extended upward with a 4-foot clarion from the German trumpet there.
Interesting, yeah. A variety of colors there, but none of them are super loud. Again, I think the oboe is louder than I would expect it to be.
It's not your typical French oboe.
Okay.
That's kind of saved over here on the solo division.
So if you wanted to do something like a Fondor with Franck, you might use this one.
You might use this one over here. You might shut this one down, use it that way.
Is it okay?
Or maybe the Krumpphorn or something like that. The Vox Humana is on the swell.
I think that competes for softest stop in the organ.
One over here, I think, is there. One of the softest sounds that we have on the swell is the Dolce, the flute Dolce, and the Dolce Celeste. Here's the Dolce. Add the Celeste to it, but you could play like during a prayer. So you can really variety
almost
the
disappears
dynamics.
there.
It almost goes away. Anyway, the tuba and the enchimade are also available on the swell if you don't want to reach all the way up there.
We have some other strings in the swell too.
The strings, we have a Celeste, a Solitional, adding its Celeste to it. Nice for accompanying. I take that down to the choir a lot and do that.
Tell me about the flutes of the swell.
The flutes of the swell.
We've got here as well, don't we?
We've got 3 available cornets on this organ, which is kind of nice, but just the basic 8/4. Add the 2. It's a nice chorus to itself. We also have a principal chorus. back to the flutes, we've also got a cornet available, or a sesquialtera. Here's the sesquialtera. As opposed to the bombard, or as opposed to the choir.
Yeah.
So we got a few options there.
It's nice.
We can make a full cornet on the swell.
Okay.
And
Very flexible colors there.
And you could couple everything everywhere else, so it really works. It does make it a very flexible instrument, because everything has pretty much got its own stuff in its division, but you could take it elsewhere and double up and whatever you need.
Like I said, it's a well designed around itself. It's not.
They
just
put a lot of thought in
It's
it.
not just let's throw in some more
They
stuff.
put a lot of thought in it. How about that?
What do we have that's independent in the pedal division?
In the pedal division, it's a very large, actually independent
Okay.
pedal division. There are three 32-foot pipe stops.
Okay.
There are also three 32-foot digital stops. So sometimes it's hard to tell the difference, but we've got a full principal chorus in the pedal, 16, 8, 4, as well as 32. With a mixture. But we also have an open wood rank a contrabass rank, so really there are independent 16s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flue 16s, which is kind of unusual.
Yeah.
And there's 32s to go along with it, along with an independent pedal rank of 16. The largest reed on the organ is in the pedal. It's the Ophicleide / Bombard, and it goes down to 32. And something unusual about this 32 pipe is not mitered in the back,
Really?
and you can see it back
Goes
there.
all fully-
It goes all the way from the bottom of the choir loft up to the very top. It's built in pieces. It's really it was fun to watch them put it in, put the pipes together and everything. But it's not mitered at all. It's a thing. But to have a full chorus down there of the 32, 16, 8, and 4. But there are softer things too. If you need a little boost in the pedal, the contra trombone or bassoon for a little bit different timbre. Now, something about the pedal division of this one a little bit different. You know, the grate is out front, exposed along with the pedal. But very few organs have I ever seen right in the center of attention is the shawmut, right in the middle. Right there is, it's not necessarily a beautiful rank, it's just right there in the middle.
Okay.
So
Gotta get where you can tune it. So.
something unusual there, so that's where it is. So anyway.
Well, let me hear that. But the bassoon is the one that goes down to 32 as well. And that's the one's available in the swell.
Right. It's a half length.
Okay.
It's in the swell on this far side of the chamber, and you'll see it back there. It's a half length as opposed to the full length 32 there.
Well, it's a very complete instrument. 2 or 3 of everything you need, and like I said, all designed with the organ in mind, which is kind of a rare thing to see on some of these larger instruments, to see one that's actually designed for this size. So thank you for demonstrating it. I'm glad to be able to bring our cameras here, but now I want to hear a little bit of music on it.
All right, very good.
first interesting thing about this instrument is that it is well ventilated. There are vents here behind the choir that allow the space underneath the organ to breathe with the rest of the room. Go back to a stairwell, and there's a door here that takes us into one of 2 blower rooms. There's a large blower and static regulator there, in an insulated, sealed off room here. Then next to that is the door that takes us in immediately underneath the organ. And is all above us, and you can see here's the backside of those vents going all the way along the wall. Down here we see the bottoms of the 32. This is the full-length 32-foot ophicleide. It goes here from the floor all the way to the top of the organ. It's winded from a blower that's in the other room, much like the one we just saw. We have a stairwell that takes us up to the level of the organ, so up we go. And we come up right underneath the wind chests, so we kind of have to bend down to fit here. Looking around back towards the direction we came in, this is the Swell 32-foot half-length reed. It's going up into the swell box. We see pedal ranks along the back wall. Over here are pedal open. I'm told these came out of Highland Park United Methodist Church in Dallas from the previous organ there. I don't know if that's true. See a walkboard there so you can access all of those. That's also how we get into the chambers. So we'll go up there in just a bit. First, I'm going to go back out. Now we're by the grate. We're in front of the expression boxes, looking in. And then looking back out to the church through the grate division. You can see this is an area underneath these long-toed pipes. This is how you get out to open the hatch, and you can stand on that by crawling underneath here, and then once you're out there you can reach the grate pipes, or at least these right here. Don't know how you tune the Shema though. So going back in, we can climb a ladder here, and that gives us access to these chests that are higher up. All right, going back in, go under the organ again, and there's a stairwell at the back. We come up those stairs, and we're on the walkboard behind the chambers. We find a door here, and this takes us into the bombard division. First thing we see, there's the mounted cornet, 8-foot pipes along the back. Everything's full length when it can be. These chambers are nice and tall. There's the principal chorus. Underneath the cornet, the 8 and 4-foot flute. And the big reed is out there in front. So, to reach that side, you actually have to go into this chamber through the door, and we are in the solo division. One can use the walkboard to climb over, and then you can reach the hooded tuba over there. But also there's a door that takes you into the front half of the bombard division. There's our orchestral oboe. Doppel flutes down there. Behind us we see the concert flute. Once again, there are pipes everywhere in this very tall chamber. The hooded tubas up at the front. A French horn and English horn in front of that. We have one other door here in the wall, and it lets us reach the 32-foot reed out against the wall. Okay, going back through the solo, back through the bombard. You can see that's where you can come through from the solo to tune those pipes in front. There's another door here, and it takes us into the choir division. With many ranks of strings in here, including the two softest ones, which are inside that box. That's the gun rack. Crumb horn down here, copper flute, our upper work. And more pipes back here behind us, including full-length 16-foot pipes. Only place there's really any mitering. Okay, on through the door. And now we find ourselves walking into the swell division. With our trumpet and bassoon right here close to us. And our gedect. And back here we have the Vox in a box. Open it up and sure enough there is a Voxiana hiding in this little enclosed space. Some random treble offsets there. There we see the tops of the 32-foot half-length that started down below us, coming up into the chamber. And we can walk around here to get to the reeds in front and some of the swell principal chorus. And there's a door here that lets you go to the front half of the choir division as well. And that's the organ. All pretty easy to get to. Jerry, thank you so much for letting us come in and demonstrating this Dan Garland organ. I've heard about this, and now it's finally great to get to see it and hear it. And it's just perfect for the room. At 106 ranks, it's not overwhelming. You got more soft colors than most people.
But you might put, if anyone wants to give $100,000 to start our antiphonal
you already have
fund,
plans.
we'd be glad to. We'd be glad to accept that.
There's a big blank space on the wall
it
back
would
there.
just be
There's room
enough
for
to get it started, but that would start it, you know.
Well, as I said, this is one of the instruments that's going to be featured in the AGO convention this summer here in Fort Worth. And so if you want more information about that, there's a link down in the description. You can find out who's performing here and when they can come hear this instrument. There's also a link to the church's website and to the specifications of this organ if you want to check it out for yourself. We might still have some more surprises here from Fort Worth coming, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the bell for notifications, because I think we've even got an organ bigger than this one coming up. So I'm glad we're here for a whole week. Until that video is out, remember you can find streaming classical organ music on our 3 stations, organlive.com, Positive and Baroque, and the Organ Experience. Thank you again, Jerry. I can tell you have a whole lot of fun with this organ. So
It's an honor to be here.
Great to hear it. Until the next video is out, I'm Brent Johnson. Thanks for watching.